Hello and welcome to my first impressions video of Titanfall. I've played about 8 hours on Xbox One and 1 hour on PC. If you just want to know if the game is worth the purchase, my answer would be that if you like COD 4 multiplayer, you will probably like Titanfall. Okay, let's get right into the meat and bones of the game. When you get into the game, first choice you have in choosing a way to play the game is either classic multiplayer or campaign multiplayer. Classic multiplayer is your typical multiplayer game modes like TDM, which they call attrition, hardpoint domination, which is domination, capture the flag, last Titan standing, which is basically search and destroy but without an objective. You have one life and you try to kill each other. That's what it is. And then a game mode called Pilot Hunter, which I'm not sure what that is because I haven't played it, and the description on it is kind of vague. Now, the other thing you have is campaign multiplayer. It's just 8, I think it was like 8, or maybe it was like 10 or so different matches that you can play, which are just the classic game modes like attrition or hardpoint domination with some cutscenes before and after and some talking during the battle. I mainly played hardpoint domination when I played so far, and I've also played through the campaign multiplayer, which the campaign multiplayer is really cool, but it was more background noise while I'm playing than it was a really cool campaign. Now, the gameplay itself is very smooth, much like Call of Duty. You play as a pilot, and the pilot combat is very similar to Call of Duty, with a few added abilities. Those abilities include wall running and double jumping. Also, instead of a knife melee, there is a jump kick melee, which I do not like at all. I still think that, just like Call of Duty needs to change to a Battlefield style melee, where a melee to the front it does damage, of course, but it doesn't actually kill, but a melee from behind, that's an instant kill. I think they should change that still. They didn't change it from the beta, and I was very not happy about that, but there is a delay on the jump kick. It's not instantaneous like the knife is in Call of Duty. It's a half a second to a second delay on the kick, so you actually have a chance to shoot them so they can't panic kick you. It's a lot more difficult to panic kick than it is to panic knife. Now, the guns that you actually use in the game are pretty typical of first-person shooters. There's the SMG, the 3-round burst rifle, the full auto rifle, the semi-auto rifle, sniper rifle. You just got your typical guns that you would see in a normal first-person shooter, and they're very well balanced in my opinion. Now, to go along with your weapons that you usually get, you also get a anti-Titan weapon, which is just usually a rocket launcher, kind of like a large machine gun that shoots larger bullets. It's just basically a gun or a weapon that is better at taking out bigger targets. So you definitely, actually, I don't use it as much as I probably should. I spend more time running away than actually shooting at the Titans. So it just depends on if they are aware of you or not. That's what it depends on, really. But there's also you also get an ability, which there are 3. There is a cloak, which you are invisible, which is, it's easier to see when you're playing as a pilot, but when you're a Titan, you can barely see them. There's also a ability called Stem, which increases your movement speed for a short time and your health regen for a short time. And the last one is Active Radar Pulse, which is, it shows, it like does a pulse like every like 3 seconds, maybe it's 2 or 3 seconds, and it shows you where the enemies and friendlies are. You can just, like, see through like walls and stuff for a short amount of time. Now, what makes this game much different from Call of Duty is that every 4 minutes, everyone in the game gets a Titan. However, there are ways to decrease the amount of time it takes to get a Titan, like killing pilots and killing other Titans. Now, Titan combat is obviously much, much different from the pilot combat. You got no wall riding, there's no jumping at all. Instead of jumping, you have a dash, which just you can move really quickly. Depending on the type of Titan you have, you can move really quickly 1 or 2 times, and then you have to regen that dash. You like move like just a couple feet, not a couple, but obviously because it's a Titan, it moves a little further than a pilot would. But there is a dash that makes it easier to get out of the way of bullets when you're getting shot by from another Titan. You also have shields, which are kind of like Mass Effect. If you've ever played Mass Effect, there's shields that when you're not getting injured, they regenerate, but your health stays the same. You don't regenerate health like the pilots do. Now, to go along with your main weapon that you choose, you also get a tactical ability and ordnance. Now, ordnance is explosives basically, and there's just like 3 different ways of dealing the damage basically. And those are your ordinances. That's a weird word to say, ordinances. Anyway, you also get the tactical ability, which is usually some there's 2 types of shields, and then there's a thing called electric smoke, with which it's kind of like if you play Battlefield on your tanks, you get smoke, and there's electricity in it for some reason. Like if a pilot gets onto your Titan, you can use the electric smoke to kill the pilot actually. So that's that. Now, you probably are wondering, how is the combat between the pilot and the Titans? Because not everyone's going to have a Titan at all times. Not everyone's going to be a pilot. So the pilot versus Titan combat is actually pretty balanced in my opinion. It's actually really well done, where while you are a Titan, you may think that you're unstoppable to these pilots. You are very vulnerable to pilots. They can very easily jump onto your back and start shooting the hell out of your, I guess it would be the inside of your Titan or whatever. You are not 100% safe inside a Titan. Now, you are a little bit safer, you have a little bit more firepower, but you need to watch out for enemy pilots that can jump on top of you, and enemy Titans, obviously. Now, another interesting thing with Titanfall is that there's different AI characters just doing battle throughout the map, which makes it seem like you're in a bigger thing than what you're actually in, a bigger battle than a 6v6, which is actually really, really cool. Because the first time I played the beta, I was just running up and I see one of the, they're called grunts. He just gets shot, and then another grunt comes up behind him, starts dragging him behind cover, which is really, really cool. And I just thought that was really cool. Anyway, the AI, you can shoot, you can kill, if you play attrition, if you kill grunts, and there's these things called specters, which are basically robot soldiers, then you get points for those. Those go towards your points in attrition. You don't get as much points as killing a pilot, obviously, but you still get points. But the AI is actually, they're not very smart. So they are really easy to kill. You need to kill them to unlock some attachments for your guns, which is kind of annoying actually. But you can also get out of your Titan and the AI will take control of your Titan, and it'll shoot stuff and it will kill stuff for you. Not as smart as you would, or fast, but it still does its thing. What I like to do is I'll take a flag or something. I'll set my Titan in guard mode on a flag, and then go take another flag, which doesn't work 100% of the time. Obviously, the enemy pilots can very easily take it out, but it does make it a little bit more difficult for them, and I can actually get back to that flag and help my Titan take them out. Now, you remember Call of Duty introduced kill streaks. Well, in Titanfall, there's these things called burn cards. What burn cards are is, after each match, you can earn a certain number of burn cards, which you can use up to 3 during a match. And what happens is, when you die, or at the beginning of the game, or beginning of the match, you select a burn card to use, and it can be anything. It can be decreased build time on your Titan. It can be a supercharged version of a weapon. It can be infinite grenades, which it's not as infinite as you would think. It takes a second for it to regen, but basically you have infinite grenades. There's just so many different actual types of burn cards. You can get a Titan right off the bat, but the thing about the burn card is it only lasts 1 life. So if you have a burn card that, say, does give you infinite grenades, it's only for that single life, and if you die right as soon as you use it, you're out of luck. There's also a burn card where it's called rematch, where you spawn right where you die, which that's my favorite one, because nobody knows because it actually tells the enemy player that there's going to be a rematch, because I've had that happen once in the beta, and if they aren't paying attention, you can easily kill them, which is, I've done that many times so far in the game. And I think that wraps up my first impressions video of Titanfall. Final thing I want to say is that this game is just plain fun. And if you have an Xbox One or a PC capable of running this game, it is a must-buy, and I highly recommend it. So yeah, that ends my video. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you next time.